guys don't know, we are coming towards election month, right? Or election day. I'm not, quick disclaimer, I am not political, especially not online or any of that stuff. I have my own views. A lot of other people have their own views. But I believe that there are topics that we can discuss about professionally and as a human being. No matter if you're a Democrat, no matter if you're a Republican, or even if you're an independent. I believe there are topics, especially as an American citizen, that are safe and healthy for us as individuals to speak about, talk about, right? With that out of the way, this is not a political type of. What's going on, man? Like and subscribe, man. I got something to talk about. But with this all out the way, this is definitely not a political type of stream. Just a topic. You guys see the topic? The topic is: are immigrants taking over trucking? And I was watching little clips. You know, a lot of times I'm watching stuff that that stimulates my mind. And I was watching a clip where they're speaking about Vice President, Madam Vice President, right? Harris. How she's now claiming the black side. Now, let's speak about facts. Let me bring up the facts. The facts are her mother was born and is from India. It's India, the country. Not Native Americans, not the natives, India, the country, right? Her father is Scottish and Indian, meaning one of his parents, I believe his father was Scottish, and his mother, her mother, or his mother was Indian. He was born, say that again, his father and mother moved or met in Jamaica. At that time, there was a lot of Indian and people that were living in Jamaica that had slaves in Jamaica. Put them on a plantation, right? His father and mother either came down to Jamaica met, or they met in Jamaica and they had Kamala Harris. Thank you for the light. So, not in Jamaica. So her father was born in Jamaica. Just like there's a lot of immigrants that parents came from another country that came to the United States, became citizen. Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for watching this live. We got something to talk about. Came to the United States, had children, their children became American citizens, right? So, it doesn't really make Madam Vice President a black American. Is it gay to be gay, or is it gay to be gay? I don't know. I think if we look at the definition of gay, it means to be happy. So if you're asking me, is it happy to be happy, or is it happy to be happy? Hey, you tell me, to each his own. Let's go back to the topic. So, now that Madam Vice President Harris is black, when we all know that she was born in California, then moved to Canada, she went to school in Canada, then came back to California, was dating a celebrity host, Montel Williams, supposedly, and then met someone else, became a prosecutor in California. She convicted a lot of black people, Raza Swaza, this type of her, right? Be safe driving, dropping this off, keep it up, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the safe wishes, man. You as well if you're driving. But she's black now. But what we're talking today is, are immigrants taking over trucking? And hey, let me. As you can see, I'm driving right now, right? And I just want to talk about this topic apparently there was a clip going out. Some lady on the news channel was talking about how immigration or immigrants are basically taking the benefits from Black American, right? Descendants from Black slaves in America, right? Their ancestors were actual slaves here in America, not the blacks that were from Jamaica, Haiti, from any other country that came over here, or now their parents came over here and they were from birth American citizens. We're not talking about that. We're talking about specifically descendants, right? African Americans or Black Americans that their ancestors were here in America as slaves. This is what we're talking about. And they made programs or laws like affirmative action, right? They made laws and things to kind of say sorry for what happened in the past with your great-great-great-great-grandparents, this, that, and the third, right? With this law, we are going to help push you and your family a little bit further, right? They made this after the Civil War, and especially during the Jim Crow era. They made affirmative action, basically saying, hey, if you have a all-white candidate and one black person on the list, because of the action, we will give you tax benefits. We'll give you, this is about the companies, right? We'll give you tax benefits. We'll give you incentives and all this stuff if you hire that one black person. That could be a lawyer, a doctor, a fast food restaurant. This was going a lot. And I believe during Trump administration, maybe George Bush administration, they stopped affirmative action. I don't agree, or if you guys can fact check. But that was why affirmative action was created. It was basically to help push the descendants of African slaves in America's generation, their kids and grandkids further, right? Fast forward to now, I seen a clip where, Kamala Harris is coming out. She's black. I don't really think she is. That's my personal opinion. Not because of her birth, this, that, and third. It's because of her political history. She never claimed to be black, right? There's clips all over the internet, and you guys can see that. Be aware. But I also seen a clip. If you guys remember an Indian American woman. She was I don't know what to call her, but her name was Mindy. She was on a show. I forgot the name of the show. I really did like the show. I kind of had a crush on her. But she's not on TV anymore. I believe she probably had like a food channel or whatnot. I don't know. But her brother, right? Her brother, who is Indian American, used affirmative action, right? That was designated for Black Americans to help. It was designated to help Black Americans to get into schools and universities that will probably deny them because this is be facts. Just be real now. We're just talking real, right? So her brother, who is Indian American, was trying to become a doctor, so he was going to medical school. And he realized that his grades were not going to cut it to make it into these medical schools, universities. So he was checking the status and data, and he ran across data, and this is back in the 90s now. He ran across the data that the guy vibe check. I don't know what's the guy vibe check. He ran across the data that they had a thing called affirmative action. It was basically a program back then called 3,000 by 2,000, meaning that they wanted to put 3,000 Black Americans into medical school by the year 2000, right? That was their program. And as he learned about that, his mother, who's Indian, came up with a clever idea for him to portray as a black person. So he shaved his head. He shaved his eyebrows. He said he had thick eyebrows, probably unicorn eyebrows, whatever. And he shaved it down to make him so he could appear more black person. And when he did that, he applied and did interviews for 11 medical schools across the country. As he was applying for these 11 medical schools across the country, he got accepted. And he was applying as an African American. He was not applying as an Indian American. He was applying for African American. And he got approved out of Missouri for the medical school. And to this day, till now, he is a doctor. Well, what does that have to do with immigrants taking over the country? First of all, it's a question, right? It's a topic. I hope you guys can write in the comments and let me know your opinion. But it has everything to do with that. Because what I realized when I seen that, he used the law for his benefit. He basically seen a loophole in the law that he was able to use for his personal benefit to uplift his family, right? And growing up in the 90s, I've heard of affirmative action. Everyone heard about that. All the way up until Barack Obama's administration, they were talking about affirmative action, right? But I rarely heard black Americans taking advantage of that, like the immigrants. Barely heard about that. Barely heard about my black American friend saying, hey, I want to go to medical school. So, and I know I could get through there because there's a program that's going to put 3,000 black Americans in medical school by 2000, the year 2000. Now, you know why? They're busy worrying about being an athlete. They're busy worrying about being an artist. They're busy worrying about other things, but becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, becoming a police officer, becoming a politician. Now, I'm talking about as a whole. I'm not talking about black people, minority. Do we have black politicians? Yes, we do. Do we have black doctors? Yes, we do. Do we have black officers? Yes, we do. But if you live where I live at, and you have one of those apps that talks about, or the apps that, you know, that medical app where you can kind of set up an appointment to visit a nearby doctor in your area to see who's kind of in your healthcare plan. A lot of those doctors are immigrants. I have not ran across one black doctor, to be honest with you. Ever seen a Sasquatch? No. I haven't seen a Sasquatch. I've seen a moose. That's the closest to a Sasquatch I see. That's the closest. So if you want to count a moose as a Sasquatch, you goddamn right I seen a motherfucking Sasquatch. Back to the topic. So I see a lot of immigrants, doctors, a lot. I don't really see a black doctor. Rarely. And it dawned to me just now, like, how many programs were out there for black people in general, that a lot of black people were probably unaware of. And the question gets to me, is like, why were they unaware? Some 10 feet running across the, like I said, I have not seen a Sasquatch, I've seen a moose. If a moose can be considered a Sasquatch, then you goddamn right I seen one of them things running across. Now, if he's probably standing up, he ain't gonna be 10 feet, but it's taller than me. Big and ugly, hairy than a motherfucker. So that's his Sasquatch to me. I haven't seen a Sasquatch. I seen a UFO, that's another topic. I've seen about 30 of them. I'm dead serious. From Pennsylvania, I believe I was crossing over to Kentucky, middle of the night. That'll be another topic. I want to talk about UFOs. Dead serious. But anyways, these immigrants that came over to this country learned the laws and used it for their benefits. Why weren't black Americans aware of these benefits when it was in their face 24/7 for years? Now, of course, a lot of the black American households, majority of them, I don't want to say a lot of parents, ran into certain drive safe, man. Appreciate it, man. Ran into certain circumstances in life where they probably went to prison or whatever. But I've learned that a lot of immigrants learned the law to and that's where it came to here, trucking. Our immigrants taking over trucking, right? And consider to Trump's analysis, this is a black job that the immigrants are taking over. And when we think of immigrants, we think of Hispanics, right? But over here, over the road, you see a lot of African immigrants. You see a lot of European and Asian immigrants. A lot of the Hispanic immigrants are not really over the road. Not saying that they're not. You don't see a lot of Hispanic immigrants. Black love, brown pride. Hey man, shout out to that, man. For real, man. Black and brown, we need to stick together. I hope one day that we can. I know there's a lot of politics out there in California. I know there's a lot of propaganda in between us. But hopefully one day we can. You know what I mean? My first love was Hispanic. There's a war that broke out in the community. That kind of, it was like a Romeo and Juliet type of love. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really see a lot of Hispanics. So when I hear like, oh, immigrants this, immigrants that, you guys, we need to really step out of the realm that Hispanics are the immigrants when they're really not. Hispanics are now become citizens. Hispanics are now become productive citizens of the United States. If you guys do your research, a lot of the immigrants that were coming out, illegal aliens that were coming out of Mexico, some of them were Chinese. Majority of them were Chinese. Do your research. Right? I don't really see a lot of Hispanics taking black jobs, quote unquote, what Donald Trump said, right? Ancient First Foundation. Yes, sir. I don't really see a lot. But I do see a lot of African, I'm talking about the continent of Africa, you know, coming to the United States, getting in the trucking line. And to be honest with you, they're running a lot cheaper than the Americans as citizens. Way cheaper. They down there 50 cent, man. They driving like 50, 53, 58. And they driving like 4,000, 6,000 miles a week. I know one guy, he drove 1,300 miles to this day, right now. Like, there's a viral video of a guy. Don't be reading the comments, bro. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't read the comments no more. Thank you for my safety. I try not to go live while I'm driving, but this is like the best time for me to go live. And because it's open roads, not a lot of commutes and stuff like that. I get a lot of phone calls during the day, especially after a certain time in the morning. And then when I'm at delivering or picking up, when I'm delivering and picking up, I really don't like to be on my phone. Let me go back. Appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know not to leave comments. So let's go back to it, right? I know a guy that an immigrant. He driving 1,300 miles in one day. There was a guy that's viral. I don't know if you guys see the old school trucker. Yeah, about 2 to 6 logs, paper logs. I was driving 1,600 miles, man. I drove one time from Key West all the way up South Dakota. I was there about morning time, right? But it is true. I know drivers that can drive 1,400 miles a day. How they do it, I don't know. You know, I can't do that. But we do have a lot of people who are coming over here, becoming truckers, and are getting pushed by a lot of these dispatchers, right? Where a lot of citizens or people that are like, hey, listen, you're not gonna push me to drive when I'm tired or I'm fatigued, and that's by law. That's by law, by the feds, that when a driver's fatigued or tired, he has the right to pull over and get some rest, right? For safety reasons. But when you have drivers that don't know the law and that are coming over here. And these dispatchers are pushing them. You know, companies are going to start wanting those type of drivers. That if they do crash, they have someone to be their scapegoat. And guess what? You're only as good as your last load. So yeah, there are a lot of immigrants that are coming over here. Now, are they taking over the trucking industry? I won't say that they're taking over the trucking industry. We do have a handful of American citizens that are still in the trucking industry, right? And a lot of the immigrants that do come over here, make a lot of money, send it back to their native land, and they go back home. And then they get to a point in their career where they drive for 6 months and they go back to their native land, their country that they're from, and live there for 6 months. And we're not really taking over. So when I hear the word "our immigrants taking over black jobs," or let's talk about the trucking industry, they're not taking over, but they can affect rates. But like I said, I used to be a broker. It's not really a driver that affects the rates. It's really the shipper and the broker with the company that affects the rates. When you have these major carriers, right? Let's be honest. When you have major carriers that have thousands of drivers, they're the ones who can dictate the rates, right? They can run for a cheaper rate, knowing that they have the drivers, right, to drive these loads, and they can go up to a shipper or a broker and say, hey, listen, give me this contract, because you're paying, let's say they're paying $70,000 a year with this one carrier to move their freight, and they're coming up short handing them and say, hey, we can do it for $50,000. What do you think a broker's going to do? Of course, he's saving an extra $20,000, meaning he makes an extra $20,000 profit, because these major carriers are dictating the rates. If you want the rates to be better, well, these major carriers got to up the rates, because these major carriers got all the contracts, which that's what they did. They knew that as long as they have volume, right, meaning they have the drivers, and they can survive at 50 cents. They can survive at 42 cents by paying their drivers. Where these smaller companies don't have the capacity nor the drivers to run for 50 cents. So it's not the immigrants that are dictating the rates, right? And we hear that a lot. Those immigrants are coming here running for cheap freights, right? Picking up cheap loads, and they're making us suffer. No. When you look at these major carriers, I'm not going to say, you know, all the major carriers, from flatbeds, reefers to driver, you know who they are. They're the ones who are dictating the rates. They're the ones that are hiring the drivers, right? And then going to the brokers and negotiating a better rate. They still make their profits. Brokers make a more profit. And then you guys have to suffer, because now you guys go to the same exact broker and say, hey, I can run this load for you from point A to point B, but you got to pay me $4,000. And the broker are just telling you, heck no, I'm not paying you $4,000. I got a major carrier that just picked up this load, and I just had to pay him $27,000 for it. So why would I pay you? Matter of fact, next time you call me, I'm gonna tell you I already have a carrier. I'm not picking up no more carriers. We got one. So are immigrants taking over the trucking industry? No, when it comes to rates. It's the major carriers that have the finance, the infrastructure to take on new drivers, that could pay the insurance premium for these new drivers and make these new drivers get paid 50 cents, 53 cents, maybe 48 cents, and give them promises that down the line, within time, they're able to work their way up. They're making $1,000 a week, $2,000, $3,000, and I'm talking about new drivers. When you are a new driver, it means that you came from an industry that you're only making less than $1,000 a week. So when you hear that you can make $1,000, let alone $1,000 a week, you might make $1,200 in 2 weeks. That means you make $600 a week, right? So now when you hear this company saying that, hey, you're gonna start to make $1,000 in your pocket a week, of course it looks better. Now when they become more experienced, they learn that $1,000 ain't shit, like a lot of us learn with our experience in trucking, right? But are immigrants taking over? No. The immigrants are not the ones that are taking over. These major carriers been taking over. They've been had a foothold in this industry, right? Because when COVID happened, it basically opened up the floodgates. COVID opened up the floodgates. Sorry, I got to 52,000 a year. That's perfect for a rookie driver. Do the math. Before I became a broker, when I was working on a construction job, I was making $49,000 a year. Now, granted, there was 1 year I made $58,000. I was working a lot of overtime. Now, when COVID happened, we lost hours. $40 a year. So a $52,000 or extra $3,000-$4,000 a year was a lot for me. Just to drive and touch the dock, that's all I have to do. I'm not micromanaged anymore besides the dispatcher. I don't have to worry about a co-worker trying to sabotage me. You know what I'm saying? All I got to do is, especially if it's dropping the hook, just hook up to a trailer, touch the dock, or drop it into the designated spot. Oh yeah, give me that. As a rookie driver with zero experience. These rookie drivers are only driving 200 to 300 miles a day. I'm driving 200 or 300 miles just to get to my first delivery, just to pick up another delivery to drive another 400 to 600 miles on that one. That's my typical day. Now you guys do the math. Please don't do the math. Now you guys don't want to figure out how many hours I drive a day and how I can relate from that. But everything's by the books, you guys. Trust me. I know how to use my clock. I know how to, do what I got to do. So I'll give you one trick of the trade. Whenever you're delivering or picking up, only put 15 minutes. I don't care if you're still there. After those 15 minutes, so you basically go on duty for 15 minutes, right? Go on duty for 15 minutes. And once you get past that 15-minute mark, go on to sleep. So you can have time. Just in case you're there for 2 or 3 hours, you'll have some time. You can do a split comp, you can be able to run. That's a little trick of shit. All right? There's more that, when you learn. But anyways, you got to learn how to read your logs so you be able to run those, right? But yeah, $52,000 a year, that's a lot for a zero experience driver. That's coming from working from a fast food restaurant. That's coming from working from a moving company. That's coming from working from, you name it. Now, some of you guys are living in states that pay very high, while there's some of us that live in states that don't pay a lot, right? So yeah, $52,000 a year, your first year, pretty good to touch the dock. Now, if you want to make more, you can make more than $52,000 a year as a working driver if you go to more of a specialized type of trade. Flatbed, if you have your hazmat, stuff like that, you can get lucky within the first 3 to 6 months. But I'm just talking from 0 to 12 or 0 to 6, whatever, experience. That's a lot of money. And these carriers, these major carriers, always been the major carriers that's been dictating the rates. Now, going back to what I was saying, when COVID hit, it opened up the floodgates because there was more demand than supplies, right? These major carriers could not keep up with the demand of the consumers. You and I going on Amazon, ordering on the Walmart marketplace, and going out to restaurants and this and that, they couldn't keep up with the demand. So that opened a lot of doors for these independent owner-operator drivers. And when these owner-operator drivers were getting direct contact with the shippers, and the shippers are telling them, hey, I need this move by today. I will pay you $7,000. See, I believe that was when the owner-operators were seeing, these freaking brokers were making an extra $2,000 on them. This same freaking load I was taking for the last 2 or 3 years, for, let's say, $3,000, you're now willing to pay me $5,000. And it's the same miles, right? And I believe that really opened up the doors for a lot of people to have their opinion, became the brokers, and this and that. Not saying that it did it before, but stay open. I believe COVID opened up the floodgates, and I also believe COVID ending shut the floodgates. Where now the brokers are, they suffer for what, 2 to 3 years? They're making, like me as a broker, when I got in the game, my profit margin for each load was like $50 to $100. You guys probably won't believe me, but that's the facts. I was only making $50 to $100. So I learned that my business formula was the more loads I pushed out, the more money I could make. Now, if you push out more loads, more responsibilities. So you got 12 to 15 loads or drivers that picking up your loads, right? You have to worry about 12 to 15 drivers making there on time, not getting in an accident, not getting pulled over by DOT, getting shut down, and all that stuff, right? You have to worry about that, and that's a lot as a broker. So I learned that, hey, if I can get 6 loads, I can handle 6, right? And that's where it comes. That's where the term where for one broker or one dispatch, 5 drivers, 5 to 6 drivers max. You got one dispatch and they got 12 to 15 drivers, that could happen. It can cause havoc. But I really do truly believe that it's not the immigrants are taking over trucking. I believe that these major carriers for years have been trying to monopolize the trucking industry, where eventually major carriers will have a big percentage, right, in the trucking industry. Where if you want to get in this industry, you have to go through a major carrier, which will make them the gatekeepers. And you only have a handful of major carriers. I'm talking about the major ones. We do have, carriers that have, from 100 to 500 fleets, stuff like that. But that's like mom and pops compared to the major carriers that have over 1,000 to 3,000 drivers, with 15 to 20,000 trailers. Okay? So, those are things that when I was listening to that clip earlier about, how immigrants were taking advantage of laws and stuff like that were mainly for Black Americans. Is it messed up? How you look at it. It depends how you look at it. It was in black and white, okay? Those laws were in black and white. The same way they found out about that information could be the same way anyone else in America. So does it suck that now eyes are opening about the potential and opportunity that they had a century ago that their parents or themselves could have took advantage of? Yes, but that's just life. You just can't blame one bad apple, or we can't just have one bad apple ruin the whole tree, if you know what I'm saying. But I also ask people to look at this as a learning experience, look at this as an opportunity, as far as more as a motivation to learn the laws, man, learn about the trade, learn about things that can help benefit you. Okay, that's the whole reason why this country is capitalism. We're trying to benefit, we're trying to learn things and see things that can help us move forward. That's black, white, brown, yellow, purple, green, pink. Well, that guy that asked me about that gay question. For him too, right? Or the whole rainbow. That there are things set in place that can help everyone in this country. And we need to stop blaming certain individuals or certain groups or ethnicities for the reason why our lives is not where we want it to be. Sorry, you can't be on the yacht drinking champagne and having females. Yeah, back to what I said. Sorry, I lost connection. The immigrants are not the ones who are dictating rates. It's the major carriers. Immigrants are just saying, hey, If you guys are paying this, you guys are willing to take me, let's go. So, food for thought, something to think about. Like I said, if you're watching the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think, especially with this whole political run that's going on right now. Immigration is a very, very big topic, hot topic. I'm looking forward to see what's going to transpire with both presidential nominee candidates for both sides. Like I said, we know what Trump did. He was president for 4 years. We also know what Madam Vice President Harris had done in the White House. Well, a little bit. I really don't know what she's doing. What I'm seeing right now, she's claiming to be Black Americans, knowing that it's not really true. And I have not seen a clip, a new, fresh clip, that says that she's claiming out her own mouth that she is Black American. I have not seen a new clip now since she's been running for president. All I've seen is a group of Black people claiming that she's, especially celebrities, sororities, and stuff like that. That's what I've seen. And until she comes out with her own mouth claiming that she is going to be the first Black American president ever nominated, let alone the first woman president ever nominated, Black or white. Until I see that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I have seen clips that she, they asked her, will she come out with bills and stuff for Americans, and she said no. Why would she come out with anything for Black Americans? Which is true. I don't believe that you should just come out with bills just for one particular people. I believe you should come out with bills for the whole nation. But on the contrary, we do have bills for the LGBTQ community, specifically for them. We do have bills for the Jewish community, specifically for them, right? Hate laws and stuff like that. We also do have anti-Asian bills, specifically for them, which let me be on record saying that we need those bills to protect people. We need bills to be in place to make sure that everyone feels safe here in America. But it goes back to what she said. Why would she do that when they have for years done it for one particular group? Hey, food for thought, something to think about. Write in the comments, let me know what you think. This is not a political type of video, just something to think about. It's around that time. It's also football season. But just something to think about. Hope you guys have a great day. Make today count. That being said, let's go.